rise, embody your spirit, and join us in singing our opening hymn.
Good morning.
Welcome. We are so glad you're here. Whoever you are, however you arrived today, full of joy, carrying grief, seeking clarity, or just showing up because something told you to, you belong here. Faith isn't something we wait for. It's something we build. Community isn't something we inherit. It's something we create. Trust isn't something we assume, it's something we practice again and again. And today, we practice together.
If you've ever walked across a muddy path, you know that every step can leave a mark. Now imagine a creature that weighs, say, over 2,000 pounds. Whoa! A living force of nature that presses the earth down with each step. Well, that's a bison. Their hooves, wide, deep, and strong, aren't just for walking. They are exactly the right size to press those seeds into the ground. Not too big, not too small, just right. Scientists call bison ecosystem engineers because they don't just live on the land, they shape it. With each step, their hooves stir up the soil. The pressure from their weight presses seeds deep enough to grow. And because bison move in herds, they don't just plant a few seeds, they reshape entire landscapes. Even the places where they roll in the dirt become rainwater pools that sustain creatures long after the herd has moved on. And here's the kicker. Here's the most amazing part. They don't even know that they're doing it. They don't stop and think, hey, let's make sure we create a thriving ecosystem today. They don't say draft a strategic plan on prairie restoration. They just move forward together. And in doing so, they make the world around them fuller, richer, and more alive.
The same is true for us. The seeds of trust, of wisdom, of change, they are already here among us, but they won't grow on their own. Like the bison, we don't have to be perfect to make a difference. We don't have to wait for the ideal conditions, the right plan, or someone else to go first. Trust grows because we show up, because we listen, because we step forward even when we don't know exactly what comes next. So here's a question for you. What does it take for trust to grow? Some one-word answers. Time. Accountability. Honesty. Consistency. Saying you're sorry.
They're listening.
Love. Believing people. Respect. Yes, it takes showing up, listening, following through, letting go of control, making room. And most of all, it takes us stepping forward, again and again, believing that what we plant together will take root. That's the work of faith. That's the work of this community. Let's take a moment to fully arrive. Breathe in, knowing you are enough. Breathe out, releasing what holds you back. Breathe in trust, deep, living, growing trust. Breathe out hesitation, the fear of stepping forward. Breathe in the strength of the ones beside you. Breathe out isolation. And together, we begin.
I invite you to join me in turning your attention to the chalice cup with the flame, the symbol of Unitarian Universalists all across time and around the globe. We've warmed up our voices with song, and we did it because singing is important, period. But it has another benefit, and that's so that our voices are nice and warm when we say this important word of ours. The word is love. Will you say it with me? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Before we move forward, let's take a moment to connect. Turn to someone near you, share your name, and answer this. What's the last time someone put you in charge of something really important?
Replacing that camera. Yeah. It's all fire related. Is yours fire related? You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on.
Come back to center, carrying the words and wisdom just shared.
Good morning. I'm Allison Connolly-Vetter. I use she and her pronouns. I'm the director of Children, Youth, and Family Ministries here at First Universalist Church. And I am delighted to tell you that you are the luckiest people in the Twin Cities this morning because you are at our youth-led worship service. I am so glad you are here, along with me, who's mostly doing nothing, Dr. Glenn Thomas over here, Amy K. Bryan, John and Olu doing our sound, and these amazing youth who, very embarrassingly, I'm gonna ask to stand up and wave to you. So we have Rosanna will be leading worship, Harrison leading worship, Max leading worship, Val leading worship. Thank you for indulging me. And we're so glad you're here. And what I say to the youth, what I said to them at the last service, and I'll say again, is it is not possible for you to mess this up. It's just not possible. And I get to say that to all of you too. It is not possible for you to mess up this space. Maybe your bag of fruit snacks is really crinkly, or your kid is crying, or you laugh when other people are quiet. Your phone's gonna go off during the prayers. And let me tell you, nothing you do here can mess this up, because worship is what we do together. What we do together is worship. That is always true. Some of you young people, younger than our amazing youth up here, might be wondering, when do I get to do this? And I'm so glad to tell you, when you're in high school, you will get to do this. We do this every year. So you, I hope, are looking up to these youth and thinking, what would I do if I were just a little bit older? And letting you know you will get to do that here at church. And for you who are possibly older than our youth, you have a very important job too, and that is listening to what they're saying. And this means a couple things. It means listening to what they're really saying and not what you wish they would say, not what you kind of could twist their words into thinking they're saying, and certainly not what you think you would have said if you were their age. So this is your opportunity as a gift from our young people, to get to listen to them, to be so present. I'm so happy to tell you, you are the luckiest people in the Twin Cities, and welcome to worship.
Hello and good morning, everyone. If there are any kids or families that would like to come join me up here for the story, that is the time to do so. Hello and good morning, everyone. Does anyone remember what animal we talked about just a couple minutes ago? We did talk about the bison. Okay, so I have a story on the beautiful plains where the bison are, and it's our friends. Hi! It's our friend Bison and our friend Frog, and they're just strolling along, having a great day, and all of a sudden, Bison stops and goes, "Wait, Frog, you're not walking like I am, you're jumping and you're like hopping. Why are you doing that?" And Frog goes, "Well, it's just my legs are like angled here, and so it's just easier for me to like jump forward rather than to walk." And Bison goes, "Okay, that makes a lot of sense. My legs personally are made for walking really long distances, and I can go wherever I want. Why don't you get on my back and I'll take you wherever we're going?" And Frog goes, "Okay, cool, sounds like a plan." Let me tell you how much of an ordeal this was, trying to get Frog onto Bison's back, okay? First off, Bison sits down, okay? And Frog jumps up, and everything's going great. And then Bison stands up, and Frog falls off. Okay, that didn't work. So now we have Bison just standing, and Frog is gonna try and make a giant jump onto his back, okay? He jumps up and he starts going and he jumps and he just hits Bison's side. That didn't work either. Okay, so nothing is working and they're just trying all these methods. Frog tries to get on his head. Doesn't work. It's not working. So their friend Dove sees this and flies down and is like, "Hey guys, what's happening here? Like, this is not working. Do you want some help?" And they're like, "Yeah, that would be really appreciated." And so Dove is like, "Well, let's go to the pond and we'll have Bison get in the pond, and then Frog will come over and we'll swim and go on top of his back, and then Bison will walk out of the water and Frog is on his back. It's a miracle. It worked." And they say, "Thank you so much, Dove. That was so helpful. We're just so grateful for you. Where are you going after this? Like, it's getting dark. We should all kind of head home. Where are you going?" And Dove goes, "Well, I'm heading back to the forest. Would you like to join me?" And they go, "Well, yeah, we're from the forest. That's where we live. We all live together. Let's walk home together." And they walk home together to the forest, and they live happily ever after.
What an awesome story, Val. Thank you. Now is the time in worship where we settle ourselves a little deeper into this time of silence and prayer. Listening is one thing. Being heard is another. Too often, listening means waiting for our turn to speak. But real listening, the kind that builds trust and strengthens community, means making space and choosing to believe in the wisdom that comes from every voice, not just the ones we expect. Trust is more than a feeling. It is something we build, something we practice, and something we live into together. It asks us to meet one another with honesty, to speak hard truths and receive them with care. It asks us to believe in what is possible and to center ourselves in love. True trust doesn't limit others' voices. It doesn't dictate who can handle what, and most importantly, trust does not protect by exclusion. True trust strengthens by the use of inclusion. Our faith calls us to listen deeply, not just with our ears, but with our choices, our voices, and our actions. It calls us to build and grow across generations, across experiences, and across all the ways we are different and all the ways we are the same. In this space today, we practice real listening. We share what's on our hearts and minds, joys, griefs, worries, and hopes. We hold them together. And when someone speaks, we listen in a way that is active and sacred. We respond with, "You are not alone, we are holding it together." I invite us now to take 3 intentional breaths. Notice the beloveds beside you, elders, friends, perhaps a stranger. Breathe again. Notice their breathing. Notice what it feels like to breathe together as individuals in community. Now, if you want to, share what is on your mind and heart. A joy, a concern, a sorrow, or a worry. And together, this congregation will hold you using the words, "You are not alone, we are holding it together." The circle is now open. Those who have lost their jobs, you are not alone, we are holding it together. People who really, really need their social security. You are not alone, we are holding it together. For protesters who are being doxxed and targeted. You are not alone, we are holding it together. For democracy around the world. You are not alone, we are holding it together.
Zach shared between services a concern for folks in states where abortion has been banned and parents who have been hurt and experienced pain.
Could you repeat that?
Zach shared a concern between services for people in states where abortion has been banned and parents who have been hurt.
A concern for people in states where abortion has been banned and parents have been hurt. You are not alone, we are holding it together. For mom, You are not alone. We are holding it together. For the joy of world building and collaborative art with the junior high youth group this Wednesday. You are not alone. We are holding it together. For people who are struggling to feel happiness. You are not alone. We are holding it together. For Emily Pike and all missing and murdered Indigenous women. You are not alone. We are holding it together. For all the refugee families that were supposed to come to Minnesota but couldn't. You were not alone. We are holding it together. For a new beginning that brings excitement and uncertainty, we say, you are not alone. We are holding it together. For a grief that lingers in the quiet moments, we say, you are not alone. We are holding it together. For the weight of being unheard, the longing for real trust, we say, you are not alone. We are holding it together. For all who stand between generations, bridging what has been and what is yet to come, we say, you are not alone. We are holding it together. For the prayers spoken and the prayers still held in silence, we offer love, peace, hope, and strength. May we listen with the intent to change. May we trust with the willingness to grow. May it be so, and amen.
One second. Here we go. Sorry. All right. In a moment, the ushers will come forward to receive this morning's offering. I want to tell you all a story. When I first started church, I was about yay tall. Not so much of a difference, right? And when I first started, I started in OWL, so in 8th grade. And then after that, I went to coming of age in 9th, and then now I'm here in 10th grade. So for me, and for most youth here, your involvement with the church really starts, in a large form, in coming of age. That's when you give your personal statement, speech, and it's probably one of the first times you'll speak to the congregation as a whole. Now, for me in coming of age, I did not talk to like anybody. I was very like self-concerned, and I didn't care to engage with the community. At the end of coming of age, I gave my speech, and that was it. But after that, in 10th grade, comes one of the most important events of any youth's time at church, if they did come of age. And that's the Boston Pilgrimage. Now, the Boston Pilgrimage is big for me because that's when I started to talk to people. That's when I started to open up to the community. And after that, when we did our Boston Pilgrimage service, is the second time I got to talk in front of everyone. Now, there's something really special about this community, and that's how people engage with the youth. In most other congregations, even UU ones, you won't see this type of engagement from the youth. There's not this type of monumental creation of ideas from them. Because I think what's important is that in this community, we value everyone's voice and how everyone is heard by everyone. And I will say from personal experience, that is one of the greatest feelings in the world when you get to speak your mind, when you get to talk about what you want to talk about, ideas and values that you find important in front of people that are willing to listen and pay attention. And that's something that people get to do after the Boston Pilgrimage. And then that, of course, builds off of during the Boston Pilgrimage, which is also very important, because you get to learn about your history as a UU member of this congregation. Because, let's be honest, how many of you could name, let's say, 7 facts about UU history? Right? Not a whole lot. And that's because, there isn't a lot of talk about it. You have religions like the Islamic religions, the Abrahamic religion. Well, I guess Islam is an Abrahamic religion. You have most of the Abrahamic religions. You have South Asian religions. You have East Asian religions. These are all religions that have a rich history in political and religious movements through war and battle and conquest, and Unitarian Universalism doesn't really have that. That doesn't mean the history isn't powerful, because it is, but it's not out everywhere. You don't learn about it in world history class. You don't learn about it in American history class. It's not super talked about if you take a religious studies class. And that's because it's kind of hidden away in its own little corner of the world. In Boston. But there's a lot of big pieces that all move to create what we hold true today as Unitarian Universalist values, and that all starts in Boston. And as you're seeing, I'm talking about how everything comes back to Boston, but that's kind of where a lot of the history begins. And I think that that's where the oldest churches are, too, for Unitarian Universalism. And the Unitarian Universalist, like the people, they all really started in Boston, and it moves westward to our congregation, places like California, Arizona, those states where people live in the West. Not a whole lot of them, but that's where people come from as a history of Unitarian Universalism. And as we are a non-creedal religion, I think it's still important to learn the traditions and the history, because that's one special thing about Unitarian Universalism, is you don't have to go on the Boston Pilgrimage. You can, but you don't have to, and you can still be part of this congregation. You don't need to know the history to be here. You don't need to have lived a Unitarian Universalist your entire life to be here, because it's not something that you submit yourself to and sit under your whole life. It's just simply about the ideals and the values that you go with. And it's also important to know that history. I think we can all agree on that. Now, we can also all agree on the fact that traveling to Boston costs a pretty penny. It's not like a 20-minute drive to Wisconsin. It's kind of expensive. And that's why I'm here today to tell you about the reciprocant of our offering. Anyone got a guess? It's the Boston trip, where our current 9th graders, who will be 10th graders, can go to Boston and learn about the history of what they believe in and what they submit their time to, what they give their energy to every Sunday. And I think that you all, whether or not you can give money, are all for that idea, right? And I want to really just say and emphasize that if you're in a tough spot right now, know this. This community is here for you too. If you need support, reach out to a minister or staff member, giving, receiving, sharing the best we can. This is how we grow. And the ushers will now receive this morning's offering. Thank you for your generosity, your trust, and your part in making this community what it is. Amen.
When you're weary, feeling small, when tears are in your eyes, I will dry them all. I'm on your side. Ooh, when times get rough and friends just can't be found, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you. I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down, like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. Sail on, silver girl, sail on.
Your time has come to shine. All your dreams are on their way. See how they shine.
Oh, if you need a friend, I'm sailing right behind, like a bridge over troubled waters. I will lay me
Water remembers. It carries what is poured into it, the nourishing and the harmful, the healing and the heavy. It holds joy, it holds wounds, it does not forget. And we too are bodies of water. We are shaped by what flows through us, the kindness we receive, the harm we endure, and the healing we choose. Like the rivers and the rain, like the tides drawn by the moon, we follow after our mother element. So it is with community. What we pour into one another remains. The care we offer, the harm we cause, the repair we make. Today, water will help us to reflect on the relationships between youth and our elders, the hopes we hold, the harm we name, and the work that is ours to do.
We begin with hope. I'd like to invite 4 volunteers to come forward. Each of you will hold a cup of clear water and pour it into this large bowl. As you pour, we will speak aloud the kinds of relationships we want to create here between our youth and adults.
4 volunteers. 1, yes. You said 2? Who's 2?
2, 3. We listen with open minds, all of our voices heard. We all have a way to lead. We all take time to learn. We shape this place together. We trust and respect ourselves and each other.
The community we want is made of open minds, shared leadership, real inclusion, and belonging.
But we must also tell the truth. Even in communities of love, harm happens. Even when we mean well, we can silence, exclude, and overlook one another.
We're going to need 4 more volunteers to come forward. Each of you will hold a cup of dyed water and pour it into this larger bowl. As each person pours, we name what is real. Some of the ways we have excluded and silenced the voices of young people in our community. Hold these truths with care. All right, we got 1, 2, one's coming from the balcony.
Come on down.
And 4, perfect. Yeah. Nolan, come on up.
I think we're going all the way up there, yeah.
Y'all can come on up. Join us. Awesome.
Way to go.
Grab the vase. All right. Go ahead and grab one of the colored waters and you can pour it in. When youth speak, their ideas are dismissed. Decisions about youth are made without youth. We are welcomed as the future, but not trusted in the present. Sometimes we feel like guests instead of part of the team. Youth are seen as naive instead of wise. Youth are not given the same respect as adults. Stories are shared without consent, and youth feel excluded from their own personal narratives. Awesome. Y'all can head back to your seats.
This is the truth we must acknowledge.
Our harms have changed the water, and here is the challenge. Can harm simply be filtered out? Will it fade on its own?
Harm does not leave on its own. Healing takes work. It takes a community willing to do better, be better together. What would it take to repair these relationships? How do we move towards trust and respect? What is one way What is one way we can make sure every voice in our community has a say? Showing kindness to everyone? Apologizing when we're wrong? Listening to understand, not to respond? Coming from a place of respect? Teaching with empathy, not rigidity? Practicing accept? What? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Consent.
Change does not happen because we wish for it. It happens because we work for it. The work of repair is active, it is ongoing, and it belongs to all of us.
This is a work of faith, not to erase, but to repair, not to return, but to build. Let this water remind us of who we are becoming together.
And this is how trust is built. This is how community grows, not by making the water what it was, but by tending to what it holds. Let us make it so.
No, she's going to speak.
Today we explored trust, what it looks like, what it means, and how we can grow into becoming a more trusting community. We also learned about harm experienced by youth in the congregation, and how we are carrying that harm with us every day when we step into this church. But we came back to this idea, this one idea. We need each other. We need each other. To heal from this harm, we need to trust that every person in here is trying their best, which means that every person in here needs to be trying their best. Often as UUs, we get so caught up in this idea that we are good that we forget our inherent responsibility to be better. It is times like these that it is necessary to trust our ability to become better and work towards it. Yes, we hope for a more radically intergenerational, beloved community, but we are a community of faith, and faith begins when we recognize that if we only hope, the only equity that we'll see will be the equity in our dreams. We must not only hope, but we must make that hope alive in each one of our actions. Hope is not enough. To hope is only the start. We must actively foster radical change in order for this hope to come alive.
Please rise in body or spirit. Let's sing our closing hymn. We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know it, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know it will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know it. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Worship together is ending, but the stories that we have told here are not. Think about what it means to be an intergenerational community. Reflect upon ways in which this church can change and grow into a more sacred one. Remember that we have each other. Remember that we have the ability to learn and grow from our mistakes and become better individuals in community with one another. Know that you are enough and you are never alone. Each one of us is whole and capable of this change. I believe that every person here has the capacity for true growth in this way. This is something we can do. Go to be a blessing and to be blessed. Go forth to hope shamelessly and act on those hopes. Go now into your corners of the world with fire in your bellies, justice on your minds, and action in your hands.
Friends, 3 opportunities for you. 1, if you want to use your mind, your heart, your time, and your resources to learn how to be a better steward to the planet, climate conversations are happening right up front, right now. I invite you to be a part of those conversations with the environmental justice team here. Okay, that's 1. 2, please help me to make so much noise in appreciation and gratitude for our young leaders in First Universalist. Yeah. Do yourself an even better favor and follow them sometime. Follow their lead. Yeah. And the third thing is, come back next week. What's that? Oh, a place to start. If you're new here, there's a conversation going on right over there. A place to start. Go that way, and you can do a double feature. And then the final thing, please come back next week. We've got a question box service. Don't know what a question box service is? What's that? That's 2 weeks out. Prepare your questions for next week. Yeah, that one was a miss. So let me say this. Now that I have displayed my humanity, go in peace, my friends. Amen. Thanks for the save.
so it